S&E Top 3.
S&E Top 3, Justin.
Vertus.
Jello.
Hey, it's Halloween season, meaning the scary movies come out, and this year it is the latest Halloween movie. Literally, the movie Halloween. Michael Myers.
You put a
is
whole
back.
lot of emphasis on Halloween right there.
Halloween. It's the latest.
It's the latest
Halloween.
Halloween, baby.
Jalapenos.
It's gotta sound like. I mean, it's scary, so I gotta try to make it sound. No.
Halloween.
You're
Did it
making
work?
Halloween sound scary?
Halloween doesn't. The word itself isn't too scary.
Yeah, Halloween doesn't sound. There's nothing scary about the
So
word
you gotta
Halloween.
try, like,
No.
unless
So
you write
It should be
in
like it should be
scary,
called like Death
I mean,
or Lucifer's Day or something like that.
What are you?
Halloween.
Okay, but when you're talking about the kids, well, you dressing up for Death Day, like no.
It's Lucifer's Day.
It's all good.
Anyways, latest Halloween movie. This was past weekend. Breaking records. Jello, you were telling us about that earlier, and we gotta give our opinion on it, of course. Vertus, I'll start with you. Now, the way they did this was, even though there's been other movies from 40 years ago to now,
Yes.
it's like all that never happened. This is picking up from basically 40 years ago. Vertus, how'd you feel about it?
I've got mixed emotions. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of riding the middle wave. When I walked out of the theater, I was like, solid B minus. And then as I thought about it, I was like, C. And then like as I thought about it more, I was like, C minus. And I kind of started working my way down. But I'll tell you about that in a minute.
Jello, what you got? How you feeling about it? Coming out of the theater.
I'm out of 10 stars, or do we do 5 stars?
I mean, I've never heard 10 stars before.
I mean, you know,
5 stars I've heard.
It's
whatever you want. I thought
it's S&E Top 3. We do it
What'd he say?
different.
We do it
What do you
ten.
I'm gonna give it a solid 8. I'm gonna give it a
8 out of
solid
10.
8. Halloween movie, based off of me loving Halloween movies when I was a kid, and this being one of my favorites. I'm gonna give it a solid 8 because I knew what they were doing.
You know, for
we'll
those
get into it.
that do 5 stars, that's like 4 out of 5 stars, and that's really good. That's like really good. So
It's up there.
I mean,
I don't know if we're doing 5 stars or 10 ratings. If we're
It's
doing a
not-
10, I'm gonna give it an 8. If we're doing 5 stars, I'll give it a solid 4.
4 out of 5.
I'll give it a solid 4 out of 5.
I think this was another movie that was, in my opinion, ruined by the hype. Not that it was absolutely horrible, but with the Halloween series, obviously everyone knows about it. You know, no matter the age, you know about Michael Myers, you heard about it. So when you hear that there's the latest coming out and, you know, it's picking up from 40 years ago, you get excited about it. I feel like it didn't live up to the hype, whether or not it's the movie's fault or all, you know, the media around it that's hyping it up. I feel like it didn't. If I'm going off of Jello's ratings of 10 stars, I'm gonna go probably with 5.5, 6.
5.5.
Something along those
That's
lines.
because he's a maybe, man. This guy's
I'm a
like
maybe.
half man, half
But here's
baby.
the thing, and
he
that's
doesn't
the thing.
get it.
But that's the thing about Michael Myers. Even if you weren't growing up watching all these movies as they came out, you know about Michael Myers. And me, yes, I'm a maybe. I'm 22, but I've seen the movies. I've seen all of them, even though I wasn't there when they first came out. I know about them, so I understand the nostalgia act. But I feel like that's all it was. Vertus, stop giving me that look. I'm just saying, I saw.
Let's get into some spoilers.
Just go for it. Spoiler alert, by the way. It's all our prediction videos are. If you haven't seen it yet,
Not a
spoilers.
prediction. This is a movie review.
This is a movie review.
Hold on,
Hey.
hold on. Before you get into spoilers, can I just say this?
Yeah.
If you watch, you can't watch the new Michael Myers movie without seeing the very first one, right? You need to know the first one
The
to
very
understand it.
first original
Right, 'cause that's what it came off of,
1977
yeah.
John Carpenter's.
Yes,
Okay.
but watching the original today, it's whack. It's kind of cheesy. And if you try to watch it today, you're really gonna hate the new Halloween movie.
Okay.
Really?
If you
It
watched
was more-
it back in the day and you were scared of it back in the day, this is going to make sense to you. And I think that's why Justice giving it such a negative review, because he watched it he probably watched it like a week ago.
You know,
Time out.
he's only
Nope.
so old, so he can't have
Let me tell you, you watched the original like a week ago, right?
Nope, I watched it when I was a kid, right?
Yeah,
I was
back
was it like 2
back in the day. Back in the day when Justin was a kid.
about 6 months ago. No, when I was about 8, 9 years old. So we're going back 13 years, right? 14 years.
Yeah, he's had.
Yeah, but even at that
He's
point,
had a
it's still
lot
like
of
mad
remakes to
cheesy. Like
watch.
the original Halloween is super cheesy.
So, again, as I mentioned, by the way, this is a movie review, not prediction video. Let me know what we're doing here. Spoiler alert. Vertus, you're back and forth on it. Jello's a huge fan. Vertus, spoiler-wise, what makes you so back and forth on this?
because of the plot. And that's the whole thing for me. Everything happened by happenstance, by chance, by coincidence. Let's take Michael's escape from the bus, right? So he escapes, steals the car, kills the dad and the little boy. Kids die in this movie too. Kills the dad and the little boy, and he just takes off driving. And somehow he finds the reporters that have his mask. There's no GPS tracking. Michael isn't a technology guy. He just drives up on him at a gas station randomly in whereversville this is happening. He just rides up on him like, oh, there they go right there at a random gas station. Kills them ridiculously. Yeah. I'm talking choke outs. I'm talking he's beating heads in the walls. Yeah. And he even killed the gas station attendant. And then the next thing you know, he's just off again driving. No real sense of direction or purpose. Because he's not like he's not headed back to the Strode house. He's not headed, because famously Michael Myers goes back home. That's the thing. He escapes and he goes back home. He's murdering kids that are in there having sex. People just in there. Oh, it's the Myers house. But here he's just walking down the neighborhood street. No real purpose or direction. And there were people in there in the movie that I wanted to see die that didn't get killed at all. Yep. They were just like, hey, what up? I'm being a dick. All right, I'm out. Peace. And I was like, all right.
That was one thing you and I talked about it. The boyfriend at the dance, where he seemed to be the nice boyfriend, and then out of nowhere, without explanation, a heel turn, and I mean a major heel turn. He turned aggressive. Yes. He got in her face. Yes. He threw her phone away. Like it wasn't just he got caught cheating or he broke up with her. Right. He turned into it looked like an abusive dick, and then nothing happened for him.
It was just like, all right, give me your phone. All right. Word.
Right.
I was like, come, Mike. Right there, Mike. Right there. No. And then you had the cop, the black cop, I'm sorry, which was the most obvious person that needed to die, in there with the cowboy hat.
That did not.
Yeah, y'all, come on. What, we gonna cancel Halloween? Yeah, because there's a murderer that's killed about 8 people that we know. Yes, you cancel Halloween.
Yeah.
Like, there were people in there that deserved to die that didn't even get touched. I don't even understand why this story was about the granddaughter.
Yeah.
Because in advertisements, it's Michael versus Laurie. This is why you're here. This confrontation. She's been training. She a badass. She's been shooting all the guns. Like, you see all that in the trailers.
Yeah.
And then it gets down to it, and she's as nervous as anybody else when it gets in the house. She's got the gun all out here. Like, if Michael Myers is in your house and you're looking for him actively, and you see blood, like, oh, he may be in there, you're not gonna walk up on the closet. You're gonna shoot the damn closet. Blah, 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 blah. You're gonna unload the shotgun because you got 30 of them in the basement. 20 guns in the basement, only one person has a gun. Why aren't we loaded up? Why does no one else have shotguns? Please explain it. There were plot holes in this movie.
There you go.
That made me just be like, I want to be. Nope, we're down here. I can't. Nope. We kept walking it down and down and down.
Jello, spoiler wise, why did you like this movie so much?
See, what these guys are failing to realize is this story was significantly designed around Laurie and Michael being overly obsessed with one another. They complete one another. It's like the Joker and the Batman story. They cannot move on until they either kill each other or hang out and smoke some weed together, right? It was that kind of idea. That's what drove the both of them. See, Michael knew, because Michael Myers is a smart individual. He's very intelligent.
He's a smart individual.
He knew how to pull out teeth. If you know how to pull out teeth, you're a smart guy, right? He just punches. But he pulled out bicuspids and the whole 9, right?
Hey, you need these?
So he ends up in the bathroom. He knows that the psychologists or the doctors aren't that far away. They can't be that far off because they just visited him in his insane asylum, right?
Yeah, but this...
So they know he's not that far away, but this is what people forget about John Carpenter, not only as an executive producer, but as a director, that nostalgia act. John Carpenter wants you to say, don't go in the closet, shoot the closet. Did you really just go down a street and then go in the woods? Why wouldn't you go down the street with the light? He knows that the audience is going to say, what the hell are you doing? Because that's how horror movies were. You catch somebody in the wood, they'll trip over a stick. Oh, God, he's behind me. And then 30 seconds later, they're getting stabbed in the throat. John Carpenter knows the nostalgia act of old horror movies. So he wanted you to be angry. He wanted you to be mad that there's blood on the closet door. Why in the hell would any normal person not just shoot at it
Yep.
and just unload all types of shotgun bullets. Why would you go look and search, right?
Right.
He knows that. So if you dive into that moment and you feel that old nostalgia coming back because you know John Carpenter is a part of it, then you know what he's doing. He's baiting you. He wants you to be mad. That is, as an audience member, he wants you to be upset.
But he's baiting you with Home Alone tactics.
Yeah.
She's built this house completely to capture Michael Myers. Even if you see a blood trail, she's got those switches on the wall that locks come down and shuts you in that room. Why not just hit him? Why are you going in investigating? Why are you, boom, all right, there's blood in there. Boom. Why are you doing this?
Because we all
You're
know-
asking for death.
We all know every scary movie. The basis of a scary movie is some dumb chick or dude hears a noise and goes looking for it.
Let me go look.
Yep.
Versus people in real life, they know that normal people would never do that. We
Besides
would run.
this guy.
No, I
and
know.
maybe just
Justin will go look. We're not
It
looking.
depends. To go off of what Vertus was saying earlier, though, outside of what you're hitting on, Jello, it didn't make much sense as to how Michael knew where everything and everyone was. You mentioned the reporters at the gas station, but outside of the first two killings, how does he know that the granddaughter is connected to Laurie? Because after those first two killings, all of who he was going after was somehow connected to Laurie.
Yeah, her
He showed up,
friends.
her friends following her. How do you know she is connected to Laurie? You've been locked away for 40 years.
But he
blah, blah, blah.
doesn't know that.
But he does.
has to.
no, he
has
doesn't.
to. He's following.
He doesn't.
But
He's simply in his neighborhood.
the babysitter
And,
who's
and
a
whoever's
friend,
in front, I remember the nurse that was getting into that BMW was about to get got
Yeah.
until her husband came out, got in the car. Then he turns and looks and sees, okay, I'm gonna murder this chick, and I'm right next door. I see the light on. He's just on a murderous killing spree. He doesn't
That
care who it is,
that
and he
eventually-
just so happened
Yeah.
to run into the dweeb and her granddaughter in
in
the
a
field.
random backyard.
Is he just gonna leave
no,
her?
And with what you just said, he ran into them in a random backyard through a shortcut that the dweeb suggested. So if they would have just been going home,
But he was already in that backyard.
Yeah, he was in the backyard.
He was already
the
in that
dweeb
backyard.
didn't know that, so this was a shortcut. So if he didn't suggest this shortcut of them hopping over a fence,
Yep.
they wouldn't have ran into Michael Myers.
Guys, that is the nostalgia.
No,
of old
that's a plot
horror
hole.
movies.
another. And here's another. First of all, is the only reason why I knew this was set in 2018 is because they kept talking about 40 years, 40 years, 40 years. Am I the only one that thought, if I didn't hear that this was set in like 1995, 1996?
I do feel like
the
there was only-
school,
I do question
the
as to why they
characters,
waited
the
40
setting.
years, though. Was it a specific day? Why did they have to wait 40 years?
Because they're old now. Jamie Lee Curtis is old.
How
So
much
they're going
longer?
to say 40?
Yeah,
Okay.
that just like the movie before this, H2O, H20.
Yeah.
20 years later, this one's 40 years since the original take of Halloween.
But
Right.
normally with a movie and you're establishing a setting and a time, you give obvious clues of what year it is,
Yeah.
right? Whether it's
Well,
in
you-
2018 they're
had-
showing technology and whatever, or if it's in the 90s and they're talking
Technology.
about, iPhones and all that. Like they're showing obvious things, but every house was set up like a 90s house. And the
It's old
characters
school, bro. It's
itself-
Illinois.
It's old school, but
that's,
it's
that's
2018.
how houses
That's just how it's
are.
built.
I mean, even here in Michigan, you go to old neighborhoods,
Yeah.
these
Throwback
houses look
district.
older than dirt. But inside, they're remodeled and nice kitchens and whatnot. It's just the way, it's that old, like, cultural heritage lifestyle.
And another thing is, at least my theater, I don't know about you guys, my theater didn't know whether to be scared or to laugh
I did
throughout
both.
this movie.
Me too.
I did both.
I did both.
Because-
Now, is that what they wanted?
Yes.
They had to, because think about it. They inserted a certain character who I like to say is the audience point of view. Is a little black kid running around.
Yo, that kid was hella
He's like-
funny.
Kid was good.
Just saying, hey, don't go up there. You're going to get killed. Still Dave up there. I hate that guy. It's a boogeyman. Like, that little kid is us.
Yes, he was
And
doing what
represented
normal people do.
Right, and he got the hell out of there.
Right.
He was like, it was a good back and forth between him and the babysitter.
Yes.
Then she was like, I don't want you to die. Send Dave. Let Dave go up there.
Yes.
And, okay. And with that, this leads to another one of my problems. This was a rated R movie.
I had no idea.
Most of the gore and violence was like off camera. Even like when he kills the lady with the hammer, that's off camera. When like you see the lady get stabbed in the neck, his second murder.
You see like shadows.
Right, but then when the doctor himself does a heel turn and stabs the police officer with the knife,
Yes.
because there were multiple heel turns. Everyone just want heel turn. Like he stabs the
was
cop
a
in the
whole lot of
neck,
heel turn.
and he wanted to be Michael Myers. All of a sudden, he wanted to be the fake Michael. I'm gonna wear his mask. It's like, all right, so the violence off camera, like
But what that says is, to the doctor's defense, they say you are most likely to become the 3 people that you hang around with the most. It's the idea that he was so consumed and obsessed with Michael that he wanted to become Michael Myers.
But I don't feel like that was illustrated well enough for that to be the
right,
obvious
because
point.
they should have showed.
But
what
they don't
happened.
want it to be the obvious
But-
point right until up until the end.
But it needs to make
But it
sense
was a
when you're
point.
doing heel
It ha-
turns. It needs to make sense
It
as to why
happened-
he's turning on whoever the person's turning on.
But it started to make. Why would you get on a bus full of?
See, and that's where it started. I was just about to say that.
Why would
It
you get on that
clicked
bus to begin with?
When he got on the bus and was like, I'm going to ride with Michael to the final destination or his final spot or whatever. And then he was the only one not left alive, but the only one alive on the bus. Everybody else was like wandering. All the crazies was wandering in the woods. And that's when the little boy and the man showed up. But even they got it. So why didn't everyone get it? Like a little boy and a man got it, but none of the people on the bus, like the cops got it.
Because, bro, that's John Carpenter.
man.
That is John Carpenter.
That's his answer to everything.
Anybody that gets John Carpenter and old horror movies, you'll get this movie, and it'll make sense to you.
All right, Jello, you're sticking with your rating?
I'm going to go with a solid 8 if we're going 1 to 10 rating, or if we're going stars, 4 stars.
Bertus?
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
You give it a 4 star?
No, that's what you said.
That's what he
Yeah,
said.
4
5
stars.
stars. 4.
2 out of 5,
Damn.
4 out of 10. It's too many plot holes. They left it open for like a part 2 because once they captured Michael Myers,
Right.
it's like, oh, it wasn't the cage, it's a trap. It's a trap.
Then they flash
It's
another scene, he wasn't even at the
right,
stairs,
and
yeah.
you see everything on fire around him in this house, this Kevin McAllister house of Home Alone that she built, and it's like, oh, he's just standing there, fire everywhere, and then he's not, and it's like, oh, they're riding off in the truck, and it's like, his music plays, and it's like, oh, is this part 2? No. 4 out of 10, 2 out of 5.
I'll go a little higher than Vertus, 2.5 out of 5, 5 out of 10 if you're doing the math right. Let us know what you think, though. Comment below or on social media at SE Top 3 Podcast. Find the podcast at 1051theballs.com under the podcast tab on iTunes, Google Play. Subscribe, leave us a review. New episodes every Sunday, and we'll talk to you guys very soon.
Peace.
S&E Top 3.